Okay, I don't have no time to do a live show based on any more comedians. So I think that was all it with the well the comedians that died. I had to complete that whole entire chapter from 2023 all the way to like this year. I finished the whole entire set of all comedians. That was from the likes of Red Fox, likes of Red Fox. Who else was there? Um, Richard Pryor, Rudolph Moore. Who else was there? Charles Murphy. Uh, who else was there? Who else was on there? Robin Harris. Who else was on there? Anthony Johnson, Reynaldo Ray. Who else was there? Bernie Mac. I remember so quick. Patrice O'Neill. Yeah, Patrice O'Neill. And who else? Who else? Wow, I had done a live show based on. Who else? Uh, John Witherspoon. Yeah, yes, John Witherspoon. Uh, yeah, and who else I finished? Oh yeah, Flip Wilson. Flip Wilson. I'm finished with those things. I had to finish the entire chapter. But it's time for me to do a live show based on a female rapper that I never even heard of. And her name in my book, not my book, her name in my opinion, this is Lichelle Marie Laws. Lichelle Marie Laws, who is better known by her stage name Boss, stylized as BOSS. Well, it was like dollar signs. Was an American rapper from the city of Detroit that was in the state of Michigan. Her debut album, Born Gangsters, reached the number three on yeah, it's reaching number three on Billboard's top R&B slash hip hop albums chart in 1993. Laws has become the best known as a part of the burgeoning West Coast gangster rap scene in the early 90s, the early 1990s. We're going, I'm gonna dig right into her career and see what I can learn from it. Laws was born in Detroit. She was born in Detroit to Joseph Laws, who was an auto worker, and Lily, who took her master's degree in education, and was a teacher at a junior high and middle and that's what she was a teacher in junior high and middle schools. There's the two districts. There was junior high school and middle school. There's both schools. She was a teacher in both middle schools. It was junior high and middle schools. But especially Lily was formerly a teacher. Yeah, formerly a teacher of the business education that was at the Lewis College of Business. But in Detroit, her parents were like both church deacons. She had two elder sisters. Laws, laws have. Let me say about Lichelle. Lichelle Laws. She relocated to Los Angeles after finishing and graduating high school. graduating from high school. She was accompanied by her DJ, who goes by the name of Irene Moore. Irene Moore, that's her name. Irene Moore, who was a DJ. Everybody knew her very well as D. DEE means for D. She was spotted by David Blake here. She was spotted by David Marvin Blake here. David Marvin Blake, who had to be better known by his stage names as DJ Quick or the Quickster, who had stuck her on a track with this man here, AMG, who had to be Jason Lewis, who had to be AMG, who had Quick was working with. Well, Quick, whose real name was Blake, was working with this guy. He was Jason Lewis, who was AMG. He's the one that did the songs. One says, "Bitch, better have my money." I think he did a song about women trying to hand the pimp, his money, even though the pimp wanted his money. So that's why the citation was going to be needed here. Uh, hip hop heavyweight, and co-founder Russell Simmons. He's been mesmerizing. He's been mesmerized in liking the track, and promptly signed her to the Def Jam West label. The Def Jam West label. That's what the label is. The label is called Def Jam West. It was her debut album here. Boss, especially her debut album was called Born Gangsters. Born Gangsters. That's what the cover looks like here. You see her cover? Yeah, it was out. It was released. It was so released on wasn't released May the 25th. May the 25th, 1993. It was released uh through Def Jam Recordings. Def Jam Recordings, that was like a West Coast based sub label, and the singles that was already been mentioned on here was called Deeper. It was called Deeper. That's the name. It was called Deeper. And there's another song that I didn't get a chance to read here. I watched a little of this document, the little video here. It was Deeper. That's the two singles. That was today. It was called Deeper. And what's it called? Oh yeah, I didn't get a chance to read this time because I hear a lot of chatter in the background. Oh yeah, recipe, recipe for a hoe. That's the word. That's the words that came out of the mouth of a boss here. That's her words. That's her words, not mine. Those her words. Don't blame. Don't be shooting the messenger, viewers. It was boss's words, not mine. But it's a hit. But it's a hit. It was a number one hit. Uh, that was on the Billboard top. Also was here. It was a number one hit. It was on the Billboard Hot Rap Tracks chart. It was on the track here. It was called "The Progress of Elimination." It was Boss's line. It was Boss's line that was says like, she was like, "Yes, sir, master. No, sir, master. I'll work faster." It was like an homage to the rapper who had influenced her style, uh, Derek Washington, who called him, who was known very well as Chef Word. Chef Word, it was the alias of the guy who was influencing the style for Boss. Derek Chef Word Washington. But it was a frequent what's it called, a Chef Word bar. So that's what it says here. what's it called? Oh, it was a frequent chef word bar. But we go to 1994 here. Laws was being interviewed by a reporter that was from the Wall Street Journal, who had revealed that she grew up in a middle class neighborhood that was on the west side of Detroit, Michigan. She was studying everything else that she had done, ballet and piano, and attended Catholic private school back when she was a kid at the time. She was a teenager at the time. Uh, that's where she was a cheerleader, and she started doing the cheer work before majoring in business for those 2 years at the what's this college? What's this university college called? Oakland University. Laws had never attempted to disguise the truth of her upbringing. The intro of her 1993 album Born Gangsters intro. It was apt to be the intro. It was a call for what's a call from mom. It was a call from mom. It has her mother Lily, who was a retired school teacher, who has been describing her as a young lady who was brought up through Catholic school for at least 12 years in the dance schools, tap dance, jazz, piano lessons, and all of that. Plus, you went to college. It says you went to college for at least 3 years. The album is in fact bracketed with a mockery of her rearing like phone messages from from her parents, including her mama and papa, or particularizing the privileged suburban upbringing. That was phone messages. Let me bring this up here. Let me see here. Let me see where I can find this out. The album here is in fact bracketed with a mockery of her rearing here. The phone messages here. Uh, what's it came from? What's the words? It came from Mama and Papa, particularizing a privileged suburban upbringing. They know what it means anyway. I gotta read this stuff out. Oh, this is what they put out here. Catholic school is words like Catholic school. There's piano playing and tap dancing, belying the record's unyielding vulgarity and the embroidered aggression. What a brilliant self-mocking disclaimer. What's called a self-mocking disclaimer. A guy who goes by the name of Def Jeff, who had to be Fortson. Jeffrey Fortson, who had to be Def Jeff, who had produced the album and suggested the inclusion of Lichelle Laws's parents, observed, like the words here. I can't believe none of the reviews saw the irony of that. No one did. But having left Detroit for the South Side, Los Angeles, in 1990, Laws and More. I am telling you about this here. Laws and More had encountered its what's the word, squalid side. They don't know nothing about the stuff going on there. That was like a thing of homelessness in LA. It was called it was encountered as what they have encountered the what's the word the squalid side the what's the word the squalid side the derelict hotels. The side is so squalid here. And the hotels are so derelict wise, and so derelict wise. You got these feudal gangs there. They got these some dealers and hustlers. They were like dealing and hustling. But prior to securing a record deal, they lived in those poor circumstances by selling drugs, by selling drugs on the sidewalk, sleeping on bus benches, and living in these hotels. They're like low rent. They're like low rent hotels that she couldn't be able to pay for. Her parents were so unaware of the lifestyle that she was leading. But in the wake of her first album, Laws and More, they have stopped working together. They stopped working together and they had to part ways. Laws was noting was noting that this is her work. This is her. This is the mentioning. Okay, we couldn't work together anymore, but we were still cool. More, his Def Jam deal never came to anything. But in the mid 1990s, Laws had relocated to the state of Texas to record some songs with a man named Coco Butter. Coco Butter, whose real name is Ricardo Royal, a rapper whose work she had admired. Laws had settled in the city of Houston and into a relationship with Royal. She entered a relationship with Royal and had a son. She had a son. She had a son with him, a son who had to be the name of Lamar. Lamar. Although living in a more relaxed life, Laws had recorded demos for the second album. The second album that was funded by Def Jam Recordings, but the label kind of rejected them. They don't even want it. They don't even want that. So in other words, she was so dropped. She was so dropped from the Def Jam Recordings label. The Def Jam label. She was dropped from the label. Laws was like she was like the she was gonna do something else fast. Like she was gonna took this development. She took this development in stride and noting that she said this like in those words like I was used to that kind of shit. That's what she says. I was so used to that kind of shit. I thought I was good enough to get another deal, but I just chilled in Texas. Then I got sick. And still performing those shows. Still performing those shows despite the waning popularity in the light of her lack of new releases. Laws had moved to another city that was in Texas, Dallas. That was with Royal. That was where she took a job as a co-host of a nightly hip hop radio show that was on the KKDA FM radio station, where she stayed for 5 years. 5 years was where she stayed. And we're calling in 2004. 2004, and she said those words like, that was a bomb job. And by 1999, she was suffering kidney failure. She was suffering kidney failure. She and Royal, she and Royal, who they later been together in Texas, and they both amicably, split up. They have broken up. They have broken up though, and she went to live with her. She went to live with her parents in Detroit. Uh, by undergoing dialysis here for like at least 3.5 years, experiencing every complication that you have with bad kidneys, and given a poor prognosis. But at the times of comparatively better health, laws have recorded with this guy who already helped her get a deal in the first place. Uh, Jeffrey, Jeff Fortson, in 2004. In 2004, in my matter of fact, laws had observed of her more recent work, and she was saying this like, okay, it was like the words that came out from what she had said. It's still hardcore. It's me. I've been through so much. I tried to put a message in there, but it's not preachy shit. Dev Jeb claimed to have shopped. Yeah, Dev Jeb. He claimed to have shopped laws to almost every major and indie label and met with resistance. People are always asking about how she looks, what her age is. It's never about the music anymore. I'll work with Boss when she's 45 years old. Even when she's 45 years old, I'll work with her. She gave me a new perspective on women. Yeah, I gotta go to the tragic parts. It was revealed. It was revealed in May of 2011. In May 2011, that Lichelle Laws, who was known professionally as Boss, was in need of a kidney due to her suffering from renal disease. Renal disease. Laws reached out to the Facebook community, the community of Facebook. Uh, yeah, that's what she did. She started reaching out to the Facebook community for a potential donor, but none was found. No other kidney, none were even found. But in 2017, she had suffered from at least a major stroke and a seizure. A seizure. And on the 31st of January of 2021, a GoFundMe, a GoFundMe was set up to raise up about $15,000 for a recommended medical procedure. And by February the 17th, the NME has reported it had reached a two a 2,215 bucks, like a two. That's what it's called. The NME, they have reported that it had reached to at least $2,215 by March the 3rd. It has surpassed the $15,000 goal The $15,000 goal that was reaching to $16,314. Laws died at a hospital of a kidney failure in a Southfield, Michigan town on March the 11th of 2024 at the age of 54. The little accolade they got here, Born Gangsters. That's the studio album. But the two mixtape albums that was about to come out, it was called the $6 Million Mixtape and Doing Everything. Not everything. Doing Everything. That was with DET. That was from 2004 2008. And two other singles that was already out from the album, Born Gangsters. They have they had Deeper and Recipe and the Recipe of a Hoe. He had some guest appearances on the albums there. Yeah, she was featuring some songs here. She was in My Sister Is a Bitch. That's from AMG album Bitch Better Have My Money. It's called Bitch Better Have My Money. She was in a song called Don't Ring the Alarm. That was from Spice Award. I think she was featuring it. She was with Spice One and G Nut. This is where they get ready to rob the bank or something and steal all the money, and they had to go on a heist. It was from the album 187 he wrote. I listened to the album most of it, and she was featured in she was featured in a song that was for, I think she was featured with South Central Cartel, Havoc, and Prodigy. Ice T, Power Lord, Power Lord Gel. That's her name, Power Lord Gel. She's a female rapper. Spice One, Ant Banks, Dory, and Tretch. This came from the South Central Cartel album, Murder Squad, Murder Squad Nationwide. That was already been out since early 1995. But she was featured in a Thugger level. What's it called? A Thugger level. Not a Slim Thugger, a Thugger level. That was with Crazy Bone and La Reese, and rolling up some more with La Reese and Crazy Bone, Asu, K Mont, and Keith G. And she was in Detroit Stand Up remix. She was a remix of Detroit Stand Up. It was She was with Esham, Big Proof, who had passed away in 2006 at an after hours. He was killed in an after hours nightclub over a game of pool. It was on April of 2006. Cheddar Boy Malik, Big Herc, Al Nuke, and Poe Hussein. But she was in a couple of songs here. It was like those from the 90s to the 2000s. One's called Diary of a Mad Bitch. Run, Catch, and Kill. Yeah, it was called Run, Catch, and Kill. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. The other titles from the videos: Deeper, Recipe for a Hoe, and No Peace. That's two of them. That's two of them. Shit, I'm about to go read this fucking thing out there, but I did that anyway. But that was a game changer for me. I had to go start reading these type of stories I had to tell stories because of what I had to do. For like 4 years, I had to start reading those stories. But I had to. But I'm glad no choice but to memorialize this budding female rapper who has already been in the game since the 1990s. Let me go memorialize Lichelle Marie Laws. Let me go. I gotta memorialize her just like I did Flip Wilson. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let me go do that now. I got a job to do. I had to go put the name boss like this. I put BO. I put I put $2 that was like in her name. That's how that's how she wanted her name. That's how she wanted her name. You know what I'm saying? See, that's how she wanted her name. You know what I'm saying? Like this. Let me put her date of birth. Oh yeah, September the 12th, 1969. Okay, September 12th, 1969. Got him. March 11th. Gotta find the date. March 11th. Let me go find March 11th. Oh yeah, got it too. I got it good. I got it good. God, I hate to do a live show based on a female rapper, but I got to do it. I got to do it. But I got to do it though. I never even get a chance. I never even do a live show based on a female rapper before, a female rap star before. But I had to do it for the sake of doing these type of stories. If I had to do this thing like entertainment television wise, I gotta make it look like it was entertainment television, like for for the viewers to watch. But I'm gonna just let me just let me just let me just put this out there, dedicate this to a rap icon who had passed away 2 years ago. All right, this live show is dedicated into the what is it? I'm gonna dedicate this live show into the memoriam of one of the female rappers that I had a lot of respect for since the 1990s uh, rap decade. Her name is Lichelle Laws. Everybody known her professionally and personally as Boss. She is born on September the 12th, 1969. and died on March the 11th, 2024. That's right, March the 11th, 2024. She died of what it called to be renal failure at the age of 54, or kidney failure. Right. Rest in peace to rest in peace and rest easy, Michelle Marie Laws, who was also known as the rapper Boss.